saw the story and was just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And the nerve of the fucking funeral home to be like, shh, don't make a
Don't make a
scene.
scene. I said, oh, them some ninjas.
Man, you ain't never lied. You ain't never lied.
Shut the fuck up. You gonna wake the dead.
Wait, wait. They said two things. They said, don't make a scene. Then the flies then got to him. Man, I said, God damn.
Bruh, it's our folks. It's our folks who try to
The
cover that
nigga was
shit up.
dirty when he showed up. Try to blame it on the fucking dead.
Right.
Oh my God.
It's your
That
house.
shit was
Y'all know
all
it had
over.
roaches.
Just like
Yeah,
y'all
man.
didn't put nothing in this young man's body. Y'all didn't embalm nothing. Y'all just let him go. Right? For
Yeah, they
that
let
to
him go,
happen.
man.
They just
They
let
let
him
him
go.
go.
They just
They
put the
let him
suit on.
go.
And what would you guys would have done if you did, because they have like a family member come view the body before the what you call it, right? So to go make sure he looks, presentable. If you saw that, wouldn't you be like, dude, close the casket? We can't have this. I don't want,
Yeah.
people's last memory of this young man of that.
Looking like a
I
fucking
mean,
zombie.
yeah, no, close the casket, and a lawsuit's coming. I'm getting
Yeah.
my phone out. I'm recording what I saw, and then you still ain't putting my kid in the ground or whatever because I'm gonna have them view the body after the service is over. Because that's just unsettling, man. That shit makes no sense at all. You got one job, and
That's it.
you skipped the biggest part, you know. Because
Right.
they be having folks go view the body to make sure they got shoes on and
All
jewelry
kinds
that
of
they
shit.
want them buried in and stuff. Make sure that it's on the body. So
Ain't
I'm
nobody
sure
noticed his face was moving.
right stuff coming out is oh my god,
Yeah. That's bad, man. They
very
said
bad.
that they
Go
said
ahead.
that parts of him was decomposed. They didn't put the young man into they believe they didn't put him into one of the refrigeration units. I said, whoever these son bitches is, man,
Yeah,
they need to be sued to the fullest extent of the law. Get whatever you can get, cause that's dereliction of duty, man.
and for them to have the nerve and the Black Cassidy to
Yeah.
say, "Don't make a scene."
Yep.
We got somebody. We got another one in a couple hours. Don't make a scene up in here.
Right. The flies done got to him.
Like he's some roadkill.
There you
Like,
go.
nah, that's some shit we can't eat. Nah, nah, nah. The flies ain't got to it. Nah, go ahead and disregard that one. Nah, this is somebody's baby. You
23
know,
years old, and that's how they had to view their child, man. It was
yeah,
horrible enough that he's in there.
that
Right.
part. And
But
you have to close that casket, man. They were like, yeah, get the I can't say the flyer, but the whatever that they have or whatever with the picture of him on there, the pamphlet. Put that on the casket and let that be that, man. Got to be
mhm.
closed casket. Damn that. This ain't like a Emmett Till moment or whatever. This is something.
Yeah.
This is something completely different. So, yeah, man. Sorry for the young man. Sorry for his family, and I hope that they shut this place down and they get a nice little settlement.
Yeah.
Shit, they gonna get a coupon for the next one free.
No, they need to be shut the
Uh,
fuck down. Go ahead, Cuddy.
Go ahead, man. Bring it
yeah,
home.
I don't think they're gonna shut down though. You know, personally, I think this is probably more common than we think.
Hmm.
It's just happens that the family saw it, you know. But
Got you. Got you.
yeah, I'm pretty sure this happens pretty frequently. Some of the magic that these morticians can do with makeup and wax and everything
Yeah.
else, this probably happens a lot more often than we know. And it's a goddamn shame that they actually let somebody view this shit beforehand. But
Yeah.
in the reality of it, it's a slab of meat that's been sitting out,
Yeah. And the body's gonna
and
do what it's gonna do, even when it's not, when it's decomposing. It's still, there's stuff that's gonna happen when the body breaks down. It's
yeah,
starting to liquefy.
I know. I think as like a society, we really need to rethink this whole idea about taxidermy in a body and putting it in the ground. Like it just doesn't make any sense. And when you look into the funeral business in itself, like it is, there's some fucking vultures, bro. And even when you do everything right, you preserve this body, you put it in a casket, you throw it in a vault, you bury it. Uh, Nothing stops the funeral, the cemetery itself from not digging that body up and reselling that plot in a couple of years.
Damn.
Yeah, that happens.
It
Damn.
happens. There's no laws against it. You're or burying a person on top of another person. Like, we've
Yeah.
seen time after time where cemeteries will dig up a hole, throw those bodies in the
Yeah.
back, the back 40, and resell that plot. They don't give a fuck about your loved one. And here you go spending all this money, to have a going home thing. And, you have this perception that, it's going to be preserved forever and it's going to be there. It's not the case.
Right.
The Cuddy said, "Don't bury him, cremate him, and do a line."
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely concur with that. Folks go bankrupt, trying to
Yeah,
pass the hat around, trying to bury a loved one. And it's like,
yeah.
bruh, no, that person worked X amount of years, should have had a policy. And like old man said, had all that shit taken care of, especially in our community. Folks don't think about that. Like it's not coming. It's coming for everybody.
Yeah,
Get that shit, get your affairs in order, man. So nobody got to go broke trying to put your ass somewhere in the oven or in the ground.
what you saying is so true because you know what I'm saying. That y'all know my story. That was a hard thing for me to talk about. Then for years I wouldn't even talk about the shit because my mother would bring it up and she would be like, "Oh, I said, man, I'm getting a military funeral. Well, those caskets is cheap." I'm like, "You act like I'm gonna be awake to fucking and praise the guy, admire the casket and shit. Like I'm gonna
Well,
be in there like, oh, my
That's
shit
the
fly. This,
yeah, the funeral home be like, you want your loved one to go home and a
yeah,
Cadillac of coffins or whatever. Look at this line and look at like they're
yeah,
gonna be able to feel the cushion underneath that, like they gonna
yeah,
feel the pillow. Like, don't you want a goose down pillow,
yeah."
and all that unnecessary bullshit. It's like
But
all this is going into the ground. It's going
yeah.
into the ground. Nothing's clean in the ground. But go ahead.
I had to rethink it now that I'm married now. But
Hmm.
me and my wife said, we gonna go, go in the same, we gonna be in the same plot together, and we doing a military burial, man. Because you think that's some bullshit, or you think it's cheap until man, my father-in-law, they had us thinking he was a fucking Spartan. The way that shit was so fly. You was up there proud and shit. We was all standing like Superman the way they did. They really put on for him and everything was nice, man. It was beautiful. And the cemetery was dope too. So, you just made a good point, man. People do, especially our people, need to really have these conversations. They need to have the conversation about being buried. They need to have a conversation.
Hmm.
What is it? As far as whether or not you want somebody to, whether or not you want to, if something bad
DNR,
happens, the
DNR.
DNR. You need to have that
Hmm.
conversation.
Hmm.
Because these things do become a burden on people. One, the longer it drags out, it's an emotional burden. You know what I'm saying? And it's costly. It's very costly.
Oh
So
yeah.
you don't want to go away and leave a bill.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Oh man.
You gotta be able to afford to die. I had a
Yes.
friend
Ain't
just
that crazy?
lose a grandparent this past week.
Hmm.
And this is overseas, right?
Hmm.
And of course they're trying to get donations because in the country that this man died, the hospital will not release the body until you pay the hospital bill.
Yeah.
And like I'm sitting there looking at it like, oh boy was 91, first off. And it's like, what the fuck is he going to the hospital for? Number two is like, if you're 91 and you didn't prepare to die,
Yes.
then why do you if
Hmm.
you didn't give a fuck, why should
Right.
everybody else?
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
You
I
know,
didn't want to say it like that, but there you. That's it.
Right.
yeah.
That's it. If
See,
you didn't give a shit about, guess what? Turn
I
that
got a
oven on. Turn that
I got
oven on.
I got an uncle that was a drug addict, man, and he didn't have shit.
Hmm.
And when he died, once again this burden fell on my mom, and it was either a pauper's grave or I gave her the money so She can get him cremated.
Mhm.
They put him in a little sandwich
Ziploc
bag or
baggie.
something,
Yeah.
and they dug a hole in where my uncle's buried. 'Cause my mother took care of that too, and they lowered him down there with my other uncle. So, you know, he got
Yep.
something. But this shit, and that's not even about disrespect, man. Like that shit costs, man.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That shit,
Yeah.
like that is a hell of a fucking racket, man.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and these motherfuckers, that's why they need their ass whooped. Like, they had one fucking job. I'm sure they got paid,
Right. You
and they've completely fucked it up.
hey bro, the down payment for the young man was $5 grand.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They
Yeah.
Funeral
gave
will
him
run you
5 grand.
15, 20 grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy. Easy.
Mm-hmm.
It damn near cost that much to get cremated out here.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a
Yep.
like I told my family, I was like, you know what, don't even claim the body if there is one. Like I don't plan on being found, when it's my time to go. That motherfucker give me an
Man,
option,
don't do that, man.
Hey, I told my family don't even come and claim the body because like
Man,
they'll
you got a
figure it
daughter.
out.
You
They'll
got a
make money.
daughter, man.
I don't give a fuck.
Well, you got a
Like
cutty, man.
this
I'm
is
gonna
how
kill
much this shit doesn't make sense to me. Like just the whole burial, the taxidermy, like none of that shit makes sense. And it you shouldn't have to go into fucking debt just to die.
Cuddy, I'm gonna cremate you and put your ashes inside of a pussy pocket for all time.
And this
Next.
is the reason why I'm don't do that. Don't
Yeah, the
do
good.
that. Somebody will
Don't
find
do
that
that.
motherfucking flashlight and fuck it. It's got dry lube in it.
Don't do that. Like you said, that's so disrespectful. Don't
Damn,
do that to
this
him.
shit is powdered. You ain't never cleaned this
Oh my
motherfucker.
god.
I got the taste for pierogies and Chef's Regal all of a sudden.
That is fucking nasty. Oh god, that is nasty. How you come up with this shit, man?
Oh no, man.
Now smoking on Tooth and smoking on Tank and fucking on
Yeah.
Tank, I guess. Ugh.
In the pocket pussy.
Oh man, that was nasty work. Ugh.
Yeah, it was.
All right, man, change this shit, man. Let's go. Let's go,
Yeah.
man. God,
Rest in
Hey,
peace,
but
that's
man.
nasty.
Rest in peace.
while he's
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
rest in peace, young man. While